Okay, here's another question for you. Can you guess the price of this house in D.C.? The buyers paid nearly $200,000 over the asking price. So we sat down with Corey Brewer, a realtor, and that's what makes this house worth it. And also what you need to know about home prices is Amazon moves into the area, further driving up the cost of houses. I'm talking to Corey Brewer right now. Let's start with that house. Is it typical of what's going on in the city and throughout the area?
So the market's doing great right now, even in the late part of the fall. So this was a property that came on the market for $1.25 million. It garnered 4 offers, and it was appreciated up $183,000.
Wow, that's AU Park. What about other neighborhoods in the city? Same thing?
So the great recovery that we're experiencing right now isn't uniform. There's some areas, not in the city, but a little bit further out, where the taste of new buyers isn't exactly what it used to be. For example, further out, larger parcels, larger houses just don't have the same desirability as they did 20, 30 years ago.
We were talking about that, but over 100,000 new people in the city in the last 20 so years. They got to live something.
That's right.
So we're all vying for the same little space.
Well, really starting with the Metro back in the 70s, it made the city much more livable. And young people want to be here because the cost of living is terrific. And there's so many great amenities in the DC area.
What happens to the working poor? Where can they rent?
Well, predominantly still in Northeast and Southeast and Silver Spring and towards Prince George's County. This is where the most affordability is in the region. But it's an ongoing problem for the city government because they've got to be able to carve out programs and areas where these hardworking folks can live in the city.
We haven't even talked about before. Where are they going? Further out? Well beyond the suburbs? Got to talk about the neighborhood. What have you seen?
So it's been a year since the program was announced in Arlington, and what we're seeing is investors sight unseen buying studio and one-bedroom apartments. The appreciation in that area has been towards 40% in Arlington and Alexandria.
40%?
Yeah, in some neighborhoods. And I think that this effect, they haven't even started building yet, and people haven't started working. But this effect, I think, is going to stretch along the yellow and blue lines south towards Alexandria and into the city.
Wow. And 40% already. Who's going to have to help you? Who's going to move?
Well, a lot will be the Amazon workers who want to be close to their jobs.
They'll be making $6. What about people not making it? The people that have to support the grocery stores, the cops, the firefighters, those kind of things.
Well, again, we're getting to the metro effect. They could be in that neighborhood in about 10 minutes if they're close to a metro stop along the freeway and the other roads.
This is like we wanted all the good stuff. Corey, we didn't want things to be this expensive, did we?
No, we certainly don't. But it's what happens. We're a world capital, and for many years we were a very inexpensive world capital. But now we're catching up, and it's really exciting. As a native Washingtonian, someone who's done real estate for 32 years, this is just every day. It's exciting to see what's going on in the region.
No longer a sleepy little seven.
That's right.
Good Sunday morning. Welcome back into Wake Up Washington. And this morning, he made history at Yale University this year when he was elected
I'm
as
Danielle
the
Davis.
first
Eliana American
student president. Okay, just 2 weeks from now, he's going to be inducted into the Boys and Girls Club's Fair Washington Hall of Fame. Joining us this morning is Will Reed. I'm going to Congratulations, Will,
Thank
on all
you.
of your success. We're so
Thank
excited
you.
to have you in the studio.
I'm really excited to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
This is such a wonderful time to break the barriers. Finals are over. I know that wasn't easy.
Yeah, it's very hard. Essays, finals.
Yeah.
I'm feeling really good. So I've been in office for about 6 months. I'm looking forward to the second half. So I'm also reflecting a lot of things I've already done. I'm really excited about it. Very excited.
Curious, what made you run for a role so prominent?
So I had been a part of student government since I was a first year, and I found that student government was serving certain communities more than others. So a lot of the policies we were doing were focused on creating events for any of the community or any of the party, but I felt that there was a lot of stuff that we could do for underserved communities like this, whether it be racial minorities, other minorities. So I had a lot of ideas for certain things. For example, with the financial products in relation to college, we also got buses, healthcare centers, get students out there for work. So a lot of different things that we can do. I saw gaps in them.
That is awesome. What's the response like from other students in campus?
So the response has been overwhelmingly supportive of everything I've done, which has been very, I guess, like rewarding and amazing, because usually as a politician, you're expecting to get a lot of flack. But not only from students, also from my family, from the community, and nationwide. There's been a lot of support, and I'm very, very grateful for all of it.
That's really awesome, and I know right now some little boys, some little girls,
Yeah.
they're looking at you and they are inspired. I just think this is incredible. Now, something else amazing, the Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Washington will be honoring you, among others, General Manager Richard Dyer is being inducted into the Hall of Fame. You are too?
Yes, yes.
What does this mean to you?
It means everything. So I was a member of Boys and Girls Club from when I was 7 to when I was 13. I was a before school, after school, and summer camp attending member, which means I was a Boys and Girls Club longer when I was at school or awake at home. My brother was also Boys and Girls Club. So this is like coming full circle. Being able to come back, get to see all the students, help in fundraising, and do my part, and making sure that another kid can have the same opportunity that I have. So it means everything.
This has been a big part of your life
Yes.
for a while.
Yeah.
Wow. So I know there's a fundraising component. Can you just talk about that?
Yeah, so as a part of the induction to the Hall of Fame, all of the inductees are going to raise $15,000. And we're going to have a ceremony on January 9th to kind of go over that, reflect on what we want our legacy for Boys and Girls Club to be, and how we're going to move forward. And all of that money will go directly towards funding the students and the operations of the Boys and Girls Club.
That is just incredible. Just want you to leave as we approach a new year and just a new mindset, a new decade.
Yeah.
What advice do you have just for other young people who are watching this morning when it just comes to just going after their passion and their dreams?
I would say don't let anyone tell you that you're overly ambitious or a tryhard or anything like that. If there's something you want to pursue that. And don't let external negativity affect you, but let all the external positivity like build you up. So listen to the people who are supportive and try to discount the haters.
I'm just so proud of you, Will.
Thank you.
Wonderful advice. I know your parents have to be so
Yeah,
proud. So
they
is
are.
the community. You're awesome. Keep shining.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Alrighty.
police are investigating the brazen shooting death of a man. It happened in the 5200 block of Marlboro Pike just after 4 this afternoon. Police say the victim was shot in the chest outside a
I'm Diana Mayhew, president of the National Cherry Blossom Festival. We welcome you all to this amazing rooftop here at 1331. This is a view that will soon be very, very clear. That big picture of the National Cherry Blossom Festival. The next part of it. I'm trying to do that. On behalf of the entire National Cherry Blossom Festival organization, staff, board of directors, Goodwill ambassadors, where are my Goodwill ambassadors? They're way back there. Hopefully you met them during the morning. As well as 40 participating organizations that all come together. We're proud to once again unite the city and the region as we celebrate the world's greatest celebration of renewal, and just amazing engagement. Cherry Blossom Festival, and without further ado, it's my great pleasure to welcome Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Ever hear about the time Big Jim went head-to-head with a tornado?
Hey, thanks, Big Jim.
Got you covered.
What are we supposed to do with this?
The Cherry Blossom Festival in Washington, D.C. is a huge success.
More than 100 million people in the United States have diabetes or are pre-diabetic. Many report frustration despite their physician's best efforts. And for those struggling with type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetes, today we are discussing a new approach to reversing diabetes. And Drs. Steph and Tom Cheney from Living Health Integrative Medicine are back here to discuss a breakthrough approach. Welcome back and Happy New Year.
Thank you.
So when you're talking about diabetes or pre-diabetes, Dr. Steph, what are some of the common lab markers that you look for?
Well, of course, there's the glucose levels. That's the actual blood sugar marker, and patients can either test that on their own at home usually, and they very often end up having to log it on a regular basis, or it can be tested at a lab. And the normal range for a blood glucose or a blood sugar level should be between about 85 and 100. For sure, our target to be non-diabetic is below 100. And then the major marker for us to determine if someone is truly diabetic or successful at reversing their diabetes is a marker called hemoglobin A1C. And it's really a percentage of the red blood cells that are damaged by blood sugar. This blood sugar is very sticky and it's very damaging to the cells and the tissues. And so normal range for hemoglobin A1C, non-diabetic, would be below 5.7%. Between 5.7% and 6.4% is considered pre-diabetic. So that's where someone has fallen in recent blood work, they're pre-diabetic, and anything above 6.4% is considered diabetic.
And I know we've met some of your patients on the show several times, and some were in the 9s. But you were able to reverse that to the...
Oh, we see double digits coming in.
Wow.
Yeah, on medication.
So what are you talk about the numbers, you get the hemoglobin A1C, you get the glucose numbers, and for a lot of people I feel like they just want to see those numbers go down, but it's like they're just treating the numbers.
Right, the numbers only are telling part of the story. So the analogy I like to use for patients, it's like the check engine light in your car. So if you're driving down the road and the check engine light comes on, we know there's a problem, right?
Right.
But we have to take it to the mechanic, and the mechanic has to pop the hood, run diagnostic tests, and say, okay, these are all the problems, and this is the reason why your check engine light is on. Same thing with the hemoglobin A1C and glucose. If we see those numbers are out of range, we know there's problems, but what we want to do is figure out, well, what are all the problems and how are we going to fix them?
Right, because if you're just going after that number, that check engine light number, which is what the blood sugar really is, it's a warning that something's not right, okay? In fact, some research came out in New England Journal of Medicine that showed that just trying to throw medication at that number actually caused a lot more problems. In fact, the study, what it showed is that driving sugars down with aggressive prescription intervention resulted in patients being more likely to be dead within 5 years.
Wow.
So just trying to get the number down, someone might have a normal-ish looking number, but if they're on 3 or 4 diabetes medications, that could actually be a deadly combination, and they're not really affecting the root cause of why the numbers are high.
You don't want to just put a Band-Aid with the check engine light. You keep driving on it, you're eventually going, your car's going to go bust.
Exactly.
It's like covering it up with black electrical tape.
So how do you treat the root cause? How do you find what the root cause is?
Yeah, so we want to run diagnostic tests, and what we have found, there's about 24 different areas that we need to assess. And we run these tests and we look at each individual unique. We take them as their own person, and then we look at what all of the different causes are for that individual. Then we customize a plan for them addressing all these causes. And then as we get their engine running better, then the numbers come down. But we're not just, trying to suppress the numbers. We're actually getting the person healthier so their body can function at a higher level of function, and then the numbers come down.
I think some people sometimes think if you're diabetic, well, I'm diabetic. I just got to watch, a lot of people probably don't realize you can reverse the diabetes, but it is more than just taking the meds. So how effective are these treatments?
Well, they're super effective.
We have a very high success rate.
Very high success rate. In fact, it is par for the course, like you said earlier in the segment, that we take a person who's got a hemoglobin A1C of 9, 11, 12. We've seen people coming in just the other day at a 14 hemoglobin A1C and already on a list of 12 different prescription medications, cholesterol, diabetes, blood pressure. Within 3 months, it is not unusual for that person's hemoglobin A1C to go from that high down into the 6s or 7s. And then, of course, now we have to work on sending them back to their prescribing doctor to have the medications reduced and eliminated. So ultimately, our goal is to get hemoglobin A1C down to 6.0 or below with little to no medication, and then teaching the patient how to maintain that for life.
That's the big thing, is how is this working long term? It's not just taking pills constantly.
And that's part of the process, is teaching them what the causes are, how we're going to fix them, and then how do we maintain this. And you've had patients, some of our patients on the show, and we've had patients out of the program for years, like Jim Clifton.
Right.
And he's been able to maintain a hemoglobin A1C of 5.3%, which is in normal range, 2 years out of the program. And
on no medication.
No medication.
We had Jim Clifton, and then we had his son as well. I mean, these stories are just amazing, and I think for the patient, just the know how to keep their numbers down and to continue that healthy lifestyle is just what pushes them and keeps them going.
It's teaching them to get control over their health.
Right.
Because a lot of patients, they come in and they just feel like they have no control.
So you, of course, I could talk to you guys about this because the numbers and the stories are incredible, but you have a great seminar coming up and a special gift for our viewers that come to the seminar.
Absolutely. We have 2 seminars coming up, one tonight at 6 p.m., then we have one on Saturday at 12 noon. And what we're doing to kind of ring in the new year, and for viewers out there that are ready to really make the decision to reverse this disease, we're going to give everyone a copy of our book, Defeat Diabetes, at these 2 upcoming seminars. So the seminar is free. You get a free book, and you get great information.
Well, and I've got all the information for you all. Thank you, Dr. Steph and Dr. Tom. We appreciate it. If you want to find out if you qualify to attend this seminar and talk to the doctors, call 888-514-4771 now to register for one of these 2 Type 2 Diabetes Solution seminars. Visit diabetesreversalseminar.com. As Dr. Tom said, the first seminar tonight at the Courtyard Marriott in Annapolis. It starts at 6 p.m. and dinner will be served. The second Diabetes Solution Seminar takes place this Saturday at noon in the Bowie Comfort Inn. And yes, lunch will be served at this seminar as well.
Associates at the Ronald Reagan Building International Trade Center. And this is on March 20th. Honorary Chair and Legacy Redskin Joe Theismann is going to be on board to greet our guests, and because this is a fundraiser, he is bringing there will be lots of educational events that come for four-legged vegetable goers. Cherry Blossom Festival into
DC's ever-growing Adams Morgan neighborhood will soon provide a home for people coming back from prison. Inside this historic church, King Emmanuel Baptist,
Pretty amazing, isn't it?
the nonprofit Jubilee Housing bought it a couple weeks ago as part of the group's overarching plan to offer more affordable housing in DC.
We really are in a crisis time. We are in the midst of expanding what we call justice housing, deeply affordable in resource-rich neighborhoods. One of the groups in our city that has the greatest barriers to housing are people who are returning home after incarceration.
And so why Adams Morgan for a place for returning citizens?
Yeah, why not Adams Morgan? High-quality grocery stores and schools and access to transportation. So this property will focus on people who have just come home. We'll serve up to 20 people at a time.
Plus, they're building long-term affordable units around the corner.
Just next door will become 55 units of justice housing.
This development comes in the midst of the uncertainty surrounding DC's only halfway house, Hope Village. The Bureau of Prisons just extended a short-term contract through April 2020, but what happens after is unclear, with the mayor's office estimating more than 3,600 ex-offenders returning to DC every year.
Far too many come home with no options, and so it's just really critical that our city step into this process.
Doors open in about 2 years. Jess Arnold, WUSA 9.
This year I think they've upped it to at least 150, but get your card now. Everybody keeps trying to grab this one. This one's mine, sorry. Again, at this time, Leadership Circle sponsors
Metro now says it did not follow its own safety procedures and a 2015 federal guideline when it sent this dark train toward Sparks, seen on the tracks moments earlier.
There was a moment of panic.
Rider Joe Twinham was on board Train 130 last Tuesday. He says the lights cut out and a smoky haze filled the car. In a just-released internal investigation, Metro said riders should have been evacuated. Metro says a controller radioed the train operator to check out the problem near Tenleytown, but did not order the offloading of passengers.
I'm actually a little bit shocked that it still goes on.
Dave Statter, a former firefighter and WUSA 9 reporter, first reported the incident on.
Those of you who may not know, she's actually been continuing this great run of success for 20 years. She and her team does amazing work, so please give her a big round of applause for all the things she's done for our great city. So for Events DC, as Diana mentioned, we are in the event business. We do so to host, create, and promote events, and we do so to attract visitors to our city. Hopefully they'll stay in our restaurants, and they'll also, stay in our hotels and frequent our restaurants. It was a no-brainer for us every year, and we're excited again to partner with the Cherry Blossom Festival, and specifically be the presenting sponsor for the parade. I would argue probably more so than ever this year, given what's happening. We know it's unprecedented times for all of us right now, and some difficult times. But appropriately, I think we should also speak to those risks and with some clarity. As the mayor said, Washington, D.C. is open for business. So for those who are comfortable traveling, we want them to travel to our great city and see all the things that we have to offer. As part of the hospitality community that Elliot and I both are honored to work with lots of great people. It is our commitment to make sure that people feel safe, secure, and comfortable when they come here. And we're going to do everything we can to make sure that happens and continues. And so we welcome everyone, and we know that we're going to have a great turnout for the festival this year. So just a few tidbits. You saw in the great video, we are the District of Champions now. And so you'll see lots of themed celebrations with blossoms in baseball. You'll also see, obviously, at Audi Field for DC United, as well as for the Washington Wizards as well. Just a couple things about the parade. We'll have amazing musical performances. Nelly obviously was mentioned during the festival, but the parade specifically, you'll see wonderful talent as well. For the Events DC float, we're actually going to have Denise Williams a wonderful song. There may be some of you that may not be as seasoned as I am. You may not remember that performing artist, but she was a Grammy Award-winning artist. But we'll also have Norm Lewis, who's a wonderful artist that actually was on the Jesus Christ Superstar performance as well, aside from John Legend. So just one of many talents that you'll see throughout the festival. So I want to thank you all for being here. I know we're going to have lots of fun during the festival. So happy incoming spring and happy Cherry Blossom Festival to all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg. It actually has been such an amazing honor and an opportunity for me to be working in this organization, to have just to be able to carry on this legacy. But I do need to shout out, and I don't even know, she's probably out there working somewhere, who has been by my side for 18 years, Lillian Iverson. So, yeah, Lillian, make her step out. Make her step out. Lillian, definitely a team effort. She's the one that when I go to her and say, I have an idea, she straightens me out. So again, this year actually celebrates 108 years of this gift from cherry trees from Tokyo to Washington, D.C. And we're so proud to continue the relationship and be part of the U.S.-Japan relationship and friendship. And the Embassy of Japan works with us very closely to bring these amazing performances from Japan, world class, and just to help us in any way that they possibly can. So at this time, it's my very great pleasure to introduce to you Takahiro Shimada, Minister of Marketing and Cultural Affairs for the Embassy of Washington, of the Embassy of Japan, in Washington, D.C.
Thank you very much, Diane-san, for your kind introduction. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming out today. This is a big year for the National Cherry Blossom Festival, the largest celebration of Japan-U.S. friendship in the United States. This, my third year making this festival announcement to all of you, is a particularly exciting occasion. Over a century ago, the city of Tokyo sent a gift of 3,000 cherry blossom trees to Washington, D.C. to celebrate Japan-U.S. friendship. This year, we are so proud that our capital city will host the Tokyo 2020 Olympics and Paralympics. So, to kick off this year's celebration, we say, ready, set, blossom. The festival will begin with the opening ceremony on Saturday, March 21st, featuring performances by two amazing artists from Japan, namely Moriyama Naotaro, a J-pop singer-songwriter whose #1 hit song, Sakura, means cherry blossom in Japanese. How very appropriate for this occasion. In addition, a musical ensemble featuring Sato Anna, a master of Shimauta, traditional folk songs of Amami Island, and fantastic drummer Sasaki Toshiyuki. And I have more exciting news to share. To mark the extraordinary relationship between Tokyo and DC and the great friendship between our two nations, I'm thrilled to announce that official Olympic torch will make an appearance at the National Cherry Blossom Festival opening ceremony here in Washington. As you can see, the Tokyo 2020 torch was designed to look like a cherry blossom and ode to the importance of cherry blossoms in Japanese culture. More than half a century ago, in 1964, Tokyo held its first Olympic Games. Our Japan Information and Culture Center, JICC, in downtown DC will host an exhibit and event series called Tokyo Evolution, showcasing Tokyo's dramatic progress and transformation from then until now. And as a grand finale to this year's festival, the Embassy of Japan, along with the Blues Alley Jazz Society, will premiere Japanese Jazz Day on April the 26th on the National Mall. The event will feature, among others, Grammy-nominated jazz pianist Ozone Makoto, performing with U.S. Army Blues to celebrate the 60th anniversary of the signing of Japan-U.S. Security Treaty. Last but not least, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that the Sakura Matsuri Street Festival will be celebrating its 60th year as well. The plans are grander than ever, and I encourage all to come out for this event, which is the largest one-day celebration of Japanese culture in the United States. Before I conclude, I want to offer my deepest thanks to Mayor Muriel Bowser and the wonderful people of DC, the National Cherry Blossom Festival, the Japan-American Society of Washington, D.C., the general sponsors who support these events, and of course, the U.S. National Park Service, whose extraordinary care for these beautiful trees makes this celebration possible. Like all of you, I'm keeping a close eye on the National Park Service projection for peak bloom. On this very important year, I'm particularly excited to say, please join us. Ready, set, blossom! Thank you very much.
I love it. Sorry, team, you're going to be hearing that a lot in the office the next 2 weeks. Before we bring up our last speaker, I wonder who that is. We wanted to remind you about a few things. One, go to nationalcherryblossomfestival.org to get information, again, about tips, best way to get around, as well as daily updates. Again, we're recommending that you take Metro to key events, especially Pedalpalooza, but other events. If you have to drive, the festival does have a partnership with Spot Hero that can help you find that perfect spot ahead of time so you don't have to be driving around the city, and it helps reduce traffic as well. Check out our festival hotel packages. Even if you're a resident, come and do a staycation in Washington, D.C. As we celebrate the National Cherry Blossom Festival, we look at these beautiful trees, and if you can't look at them right now, you all need to turn around, but it's just appreciating this view, and you can only imagine what they'll look like in a few weeks. The people that really take care of these blossoms, these trees, as Minister Shimada says, the National Park Service. So we cannot thank you enough. Your cherry tree crew, and they're probably out there pruning and everything else right now. And so we really want everybody, again, just to pause a minute and just realize that the National Cherry Blossom Festival is working very closely with the Trust for the National Mall to help with the Cherry Tree Endowment Fund, to help these trees be sustained for generations to come. You'll be hearing a lot of information coming up soon about the condition of the tidal basin and maybe some of these trees, and not to have doom and gloom, but they're looking now. The good news is they're looking now to find solutions so we can have these trees around for a very long time. So thank you very much, and I would like to introduce, without any further ado, Superintendent from the National Mall Memorial Parks, Superintendent Jeff Reinbold.
I'm just going to announce the time or the day. Yeah. Thank you, Diana, and congratulations on 20 years. It's my pleasure to be here on behalf of the National Park Service and once again to be part of our nation's great springtime celebration. The National Park Service is proud to be a partner with the National Cherry Blossom Festival, with the district, with the embassy, and welcoming visitors here from around the world to witness this incredible yet fleeting beauty of the cherry blossoms. The staff at the National Mall and Memorial Parks takes great pride in the work we do to care for the stars of this festival, the 3,700 cherry trees, which are both a natural and cultural treasure of our city and of our nation, rooted in history and tradition. Our staff includes professional arborists whose technical prowess and dedication are among the most important factors in the long-term survival of the flowering cherry trees, a handful of which date back to 1912. Several members of our tree crew are here today, and I hope you will thank them if you see them in the back. I'm not sure they're happy being here. They would rather be out working on the trees, but they do a fantastic job. I'd also like to acknowledge, as Diane mentioned, the critically important support that the Trust for the National Mall, the National Cherry Blossom Festival, and establishing the Cherry Tree Endowment to assist us in the long-term care of these national treasures. Again, this year, the annual Cherry Blossom Festival is packed with events and activities. This year's program offers a full range of opportunities to learn about the history of the cherry trees while you enjoy the blossoms. Our popular evening lantern walks are back, and our younger visitors to the Junior Ranger activity zones can learn about the cherry blossoms through arts and crafts and earn a very special Cherry Blossom Junior Ranger badge. For more on the history of the cherry blossoms, the full schedule of National Park Service events, you can go to nps.gov/cherry. And now, the moment we've been waiting for. After analyzing a variety of data, including winter temperatures and forecasts for March, our staff has come up with the projected peak dates. May I have the flower, please? And the projected date is March 27th through 30th. Perfect time. A reminder that this is the window during which the trees will first reach their peak bloom. So we define that as 70% of the Yoshino trees are in blossom. If the weather conditions are favorable, the trees can hold those blossoms for 10 days or more. So our horticulturalists will continue to monitor the weather and the bud development and report out the status of the blooms. But regardless of when the blossoms are open, we have a full month of flowers and festivities to look forward to. Turn the podium back over to Diana to give us a preview of what we can look forward to during the festival. Thank you.
So again, I won't preview you anymore. You're going to have more surprises coming up. I do want to take a minute to thank you for being here today, and I wanted to thank our entire team who works year-round, so my whole entire staff that really are the ones that get it done. So thank you to them. And again, a very special shout-out for 1331 and our location here today, and for the hospitality. Please give everybody a big hand. David. And David did want me to tell you that if anyone wants to actually take a tour of some of these residents before you go, available residents, we're not going into anybody's house, to see David, and he'll actually give you a tour today. So thank you very much. Thank you all for coming, and wait, ready, set, bloom. Oh, I'm going to have so much fun with that. Thank you.